Welcome to the City Rooster Forum. I'm Kenny the Rooster, and today we're going with the key phrase, body language stereotypes. Body language stereotypes is the key phrase today, and that includes eye contact. Okay? I want to talk about this because body language stereotypes and eye contact stereotypes, that's what they turned out to be. A lot of psychiatrists or analysts or people, they want to think that you can judge a person on their body language. Very interesting. Or their eye contact. People tried to use it for job interviews in the past. People tried to use it as a quick judgment for people. They tried. It's just so inaccurate. It's almost as bad as DEI. You don't learn about people from their body language or their eye contact. No, not at all. Many times you can be wrong about them. Look at some of the famous figures today that have wonderful body language. Nancy Pelosi, Zoran Mondani, Valinsky from across the water. Not only politicians, big leaders, but lots of times athletes too. We thought that Bruce Springsteen had great eye contact or great body language. Great leaders and great musicians or great actors, celebrities, they just don't. It's very misleading. You don't learn about people from body language. You don't learn about them from stereotypes. It just doesn't work. I've seen many times where people talk about them on interviews, on podcasts. How do you learn about a criminal? Well, check out their body language. Well, that doesn't work. A lot of times the police could not even use body language or eye contact in a court case. That never works. I remember I was told that I seemed like the criminal type because of my body language. Well, that didn't work out too well because I was never the criminal type. I don't like to kill people. I don't like to even rob them or mug them or whichever the case may be. But I've been told that I have the same body language as people who do. Many people have. I've had friends that have talked about this. Well, it turns out that body language and eye contact are nothing different than another form of DEI that's not considered DEI because people have used it a lot longer. I never used body language or eye contact in job interviews. I did very well in job interviews. I didn't have too many of them. I just got the job because how do you learn about people? Listen to what they say. Listen to what they talk about. Listen to what they think about. Spend some time with them. Observe their behavior as far as things they like to do and why. If people can talk about why they do certain things or what their reasoning is or why they believe in certain gods or religions, let them talk about it. Body language doesn't really tell you anything about a person, nor does eye contact. It never does. I have enough experience to see this. I've been around long enough to know. I've never voted for somebody based on their body language or eye contact when I had the right to vote. Of course, in states like New Jersey, that's not always the case for blind and visually impaired people. I have the great use of my hands, my arms, my legs. Over the years, they've worked very well, and they've served me very well. I do not have cerebral palsy. I don't have bad knees. Not to this point. And I never really considered body language important. So you don't have to have cerebral palsy or bad knees or any mobility limited condition to think that you need body language. Nobody needs body language. You don't learn about people from body language. You don't learn about them from eye contact, regardless of how good or not good their vision is. People can say, oh, well, their eyes flinch this way, or maybe they look this way, or maybe they're doing this, or maybe a shoulder turns to the left or the right. Oh, so that means that they're lying. You don't know if somebody's lying until you look into it, until you get their reasoning and find out. People need to get to the bottom of things. That's what we used to do all the time. People don't do that anymore. People don't like to socialize with people. They don't like to talk to them as much. So they do things that are cheap and easy. Not only DEI, but they use body language. Let's judge them by their body language. Let's judge them by their eye contact. That'll tell me if I really am going to like this person or not. Too many people do that. Body language and eye contact has been a thing for maybe decades, but it hasn't been as heavily depended on as it is now. That's because it's very, very convenient for some people. People say, oh, I know this person just by looking at them, just by looking at the color of their skin, just by hearing their accent, just by observing their body language or eye contact. No, that's not necessarily true. You got to learn about people by talking to them, getting to know them, what kind of things they do and why they do it, and what kind of things you do and why you do it. That's what happens. There's too much emphasis on it. And a lot of people have had bad judgments of character because of body language. A lot of times in sex. Okay? People think that somebody who's good at sexual activity is probably great body language. Not necessarily so. Sometimes they think, well, maybe they'll be a nymphomaniac. Their body language tells me that. Well, no. Never. Not quite. It's never happened. Not accurately, not correctly. We have to learn about people from talking to them, doing things with them. That's how it used to be for a long time. It turns out that the progressive leftist movement, which is wrong about most everything, in this day and age depends on body language or eye contact a lot more than traditionalists, than patriots like myself. It's one thing if you judge somebody because you hoped that they would do something and they don't do it. You can say, I know that they didn't do that certain thing I was expecting, such as saluting the flag. Well, why would somebody at a ball game not salute the flag? Why would they take a knee? That's not body language, that's an action. Judging people on their actions. And that's what happens here. And too many people depend on that. But body language and eye contact are stereotypes. They're just preempted judgments of other people. You're looking for a reason to make a judgment of that person. Most of the time, it's going to be a bad judgment of that person. Too many people who make the wrong decisions basically make quick snap judgments that are not good judgments about other people. And sometimes they don't even know why they make those judgments. Being able to tell an athlete because of their body language doesn't work either. If an athlete performs well, then you're going to say they're a good athlete. If they don't perform well, then they're not a good athlete. Body language isn't going to tell you that. How fast they run will be better. How fast they jump, or how high they jump, or how well they perform their sport. There were people that supported the transgender movement and wanted men to play in women's sports, and they said, well, those men have the same body language as women. Not true at all. Body language wouldn't tell them that, and they were wrong. And we have learned and found enough that men should not play in women's sports and women should not play in men's sports, because athleticism should always be segregated by gender. It doesn't mean that women are better or worse than men, or not as good, or inferior or superior. It just means that they're different. Women are different than men, so women's sports should be different than men's sports. People say that body language is a good way to tell if this person is fit for the job. When I was in a job interview, I didn't need to use body language or eye contact. I just answered questions and listened to interviewers who were concerned about my merit and say to me things like, well, what do you know about this company? And how do you feel you can contribute to the company? And what qualifications do you have for the job that you're applying for? Questions like that. On the outside, I was told that I needed to have good body language to get a job, and I never did. And I got good jobs at the time. But what happened was, things have changed now, and now we are using all sorts of stereotypes so we don't have to get to know people. We're just going to use internet services or apply online, and how well they do online, or how well they look, or what kind of body language or eye contact they have is basically what people feel satisfied with. And body language and stereotypes are not a good thing at all. Everybody who stereotypes people gets the wrong idea of them. You don't learn about people when stereotyping them. And body language and eye contact are forms of stereotypes. You can have a so-called expert come on and tell you all about body language or eye contact, and they're always wrong. I've watched some of them. I'm thinking, wait a minute. That doesn't apply to me. That doesn't apply to many people. Why would they say that? I've heard people on different podcasts, whose names I won't mention, say, well, I don't think they are worth paying them as much as you might want to pay them if they exploit this type of body language or that type of eye contact. Well, that's wrong. Marriage for long term is not based on body language. It's based what two people look for in life and what their morals are and what they're looking for. Do they want a nice family? Do they want children? Do they believe in working? Well, nobody talks about that anymore. They just look at them at their body language. Now, naturally, people are attracted to other people. We all have our needs. Men like good-looking women. Women like good-looking men. But that's just something to warrant a conversation. You're not going to show up on a blind date with mud all over your face. But you're never going to get the right idea of a person by looking for body language from them, by looking for eye contact from them. Many times it's wrong. Matter of fact, some crimes are committed and the excuse was, well, I didn't like the way he eyeballed me. Or I didn't like the way their body language was. And those could only be guesswork type of things. Guesswork is the thing that gets many decisions wrong. Body language and eye contact are just as much of a form of guesswork as DEI. DEI is a form of guesswork. I mentioned in one of my earlier podcasts with a friend that DEI, the first reason DEI existed was not for discrimination, even though it does discriminate. The first reason is to bypass all the job laws, all the laws that require employers to look into people for their merit. Some people think it saves them time. Some people think it's nice and convenient. But it's never convenient at all. It's never convenient, and it never works. I mention it here because a lot of people have made a lot of wrong decisions based on snap judgments, based on preconceived notions. In the 21st century, preconceived notions are very, very popular, which makes body language and eye contact as popular as DEI. And as popular as it is, it's also as inaccurate as DEI. You never get the right person because of body language. Joe Biden, when he ran for president, before he lost his marbles, a lot of people considered that he had excellent body language. Then when he started shaking hands with dry air, when he started going in different directions than people expected him to, when his speech changed, people found that they were wrong about him from the very beginning. Of course, when you get older, you lose certain things. So body language and eye contact are only skin deep. But nobody will say that. They'll say beauty is only skin deep. Nobody will talk about how skin deep body language or eye contact is. But it's true. Body language doesn't represent a person's personality, nor does eye contact. It doesn't represent what a person's thinking, what a person intends to do, or what a person has done. It means nothing at all. It just indicates that a person may know something or may not know something, and you don't know what that thing they know or not know is. All the times when I was accused of being a liar, I was accused of being a liar for one of two reasons: secondhand information from people who don't like me, or that I gave them this body language that I didn't even know I had. It's not just being old school. Nobody used body language before 1990, when all these ridiculous progressive laws were passed. People say Donald Trump is not a good president because he doesn't act presidential. Well, why should he act presidential? All the presidents in the past that acted presidential weren't all so great. FDR was very presidential. Woodrow Wilson was very presidential. Barack Obama is extremely presidential, has fantastic mannerisms. Joe Biden, before he lost his marbles, was extremely presidential. And the last four men that I named were all socialists. Socialists concentrate on body language, and they concentrate on eye contact, because the purpose of body language and eye contact, if you use it intentionally, is to deceive people if it really represents you. AI is tracking people with body language. There's a lot of facial recognition surveillance video out there taking people by the surveillance. And one of the first things they say is, well, let's check out his body language before anything else. There have been a lot of people who have lied that have excellent body language. Nobody checks them out. Never. It's never happened, and it never will. Body language and eye contact, which is also just as inaccurate as body language, never give you an idea of what a person is thinking or feeling. They just don't. And we need to learn that body language and eye contact are two things that we should not stereotype on people, because it does not represent them well, and it could throw people who are depending on body language and eye contact, it could throw them off. It could throw them off. It could make them think that, oh, we know all about this person. I've actually seen videos of people that were supporters of the CCP say we need body language and eye contact to fool Americans into our narrative. That's not the first thing that prompted me to talk about how misleading this was. It was just one more thing. There were many times somebody said, well, obviously that's what you told me by your body language. I said I didn't say anything, and I didn't even give you such body language. Sometimes people make it up. Sometimes they'll tell you you'll have a body language or eye contact thing to make you feel like you told them something when you really didn't. So it's a stereotype. Stereotypes are very popular in the 21st century. They're especially popular among the progressive liberals. They cause them to make really bad decisions, and then they want to blame it on other people. Thank you for tuning in to the City Rooster Forum. Like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video.